Hi there, thank you for clicking on this wee link to find out more about training with Celebrant Trade Scotland. And I'm Lindy, I'm the lead tutor here at CTS and the founder of CTS, if that means anything. But I'm here to talk about training that's coming up later in the year. So this is May 2022, we're actually just about to embark on a 4-day funeral celebrant training course. That's coming up at the beginning of June. It's an online course, so it's going to be done via Zoom. And last night we had our 2-hour pre-course session. I have that for every course that I run, and that's where we meet each other for the first time. This is a fully booked course, so we have 6 students on it. We meet each other for the first time and we sort of talk through some aspects of the training to get everybody set up for the training. But students are also given some material to go away and start looking at and working on to put together as part of their final presentation. So your training actually starts before actually, you're there physically in the training space. But as I said, we've got another course coming up in September. It's from September the 6th to the 9th. And this is a classroom-based course. So this is going to be taking place in Perth in Scotland. The actual venue hasn't been decided yet, but I will make sure that it's close to Transport Links of Perth. But we're going to spend 4 days talking about everything to do with being a funeral celebrant. So how the whole thing works. So let's break that down a bit. And look at the different days and what we actually do. So day 1 is all about building the foundations, what it takes to be a funeral celebrant. What we look at funeral celebrants, say in 2022, and we do something called, we have a session called From Phone Call to Funeral Service, which is everything that happens, the whole process between picking up the phone and somebody asking you if you can conduct a funeral service, right the way through to you standing up there, whether it be in a crematorium, on a graveside, or in another venue, a community hall, a hotel, etc., and delivering a funeral service. And that might seem as if that's quite simple from one to the other, but there's so many different elements that have to be put in there in between. So I will share with you the system that I have built up over 7 years of being a full-time celebrant and over 800 funerals. The system that I've created that works for me, and I'll share that with you. And you can use that, you can adapt it to work with your own style. But so that's day 1. It's all about building the foundations of your funeral celebrant business. Day 2 is all about working with families. And so we, because it's a very important but can be quite a tricky aspect of being a funeral celebrant, where you go and sit down with a family to gather all the information that you're going to need in order to write the service. And that's the logistical information, so everything about the service itself, who's going to be taking part in the service, readings, poetry, slideshows, live webcasts, who's doing what, flowers, blah. You're talking through every aspect of the service, so you've got a really good overview, and so that when you're communicating with the funeral director, you both know exactly what's happening. So there's all that part of it, but then there's the other part of it, the person's life, and finding out everything you can about their life in order to go away and write their life story. If indeed you're the person that's writing their life story, but most of the time it will be. And so you're gathering all that information up so that you can go away and you can put together this funeral service, and you can put it together in a way that it flows throughout and it really honours the life of the person, but also that it aligns with the wishes of the family. So we look at deep listening, how we listen to families to make sure that we are putting together what they've asked us for and not what we think they should have. Very, very important. And there are a lot of tricky aspects to working with families, because grief does strange things to people, and we are dealing with families who are usually heavy in grief. And you can go into a house and there might just be 1 or 2 people sitting there. You can go into a house and there's 20 people sitting there, and you have to manage that situation. You have to try and hear the different voices. You have to try and make sure people are not talking over each other, because you only have a certain amount of time in which you can be with people to get all the information you need. So it can be very, very tricky. So in day 2, we look at that, we talk through that. I give you examples of times when I've come up against challenges and how, you know, I worked through those challenges. But we also do lots of role play. So you'll do role play with me, where you'll be the family, I'll be the celebrant, and I'll show you how I do it. But also role play with each other. So you're really getting a wee taste of what it's like to sit down in front of people and ask the questions that you need to ask, the right questions in the right way, so that you're getting all this rich information. And so that's day 2, working with families. Day 3, it's all about the writing and delivering. So first of all, the writing. You've got all this information, you know, and it's maybe in different sheets of paper. You've maybe collected it in a dictaphone as well as your sheets of paper. But you've got all this information, and as I say, you've got the logistical stuff, and then you've got the life story stuff. How do you put that together in a way that is going to form a full funeral service? And that's what we're working on in day 3, because you want to put it together in a way that it flows, in a way that it's engaging. So when you're standing up there and there's maybe 200 people in front of you, they are engaged, they're connected with what you're saying, they recognise the person that you're talking about. That's so important. And many times have you heard people go to a funeral and say that they could have been talking about anybody. We don't do that here at CTS. We want to make it very life-centred and very personal, so that everybody leaves the funeral service feeling not only as if the life was really honoured, but it was the life of the person that they knew. So how do we do that? How do we put it together on paper to make sure that happens? So that's day 3 in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we're looking at the delivery, because as somebody who comes from a long background in public and professional speaking, I can absolutely say that being up there, whether it's a funeral service or any other kind of ceremony, being up there is it's a completely different type of speaking. It's a completely different kind of delivery, because it's got to be very heartfelt, it's got to be very compassionate, but it's got to be very professional, and it can't be about you. So we're trying to make sure that we're up there delivering it in a way that, as I say, we keep everybody engaged, we keep everybody listening, we make everybody feel as if they know the person we're talking about, as if you really know the person you're talking about, but also that we're doing that in a very professional manner. So that's day 3 in the afternoon. Then we're on to day 4, and day 4 is where in the morning you will each deliver a full 20-minute funeral service. Now, you will have been working in that service all the way through the training, and indeed, as I just said, before the training even starts. But by the 4th day, you will have a full 20-minute funeral service that you have written and that you've put together. And you will get up and you will deliver that in a very professional manner. So you'll be behind a lectern, you'll be dressed as you would be if you were delivering a funeral. You will deliver that to me, to the other students on the course. There may well be a funeral director in the room, and there may well be, and probably will be, other practicing celebrants who have given up their time to come along and not only support you, but also to give you feedback on how you can be even better, because they're out there doing this work. They know what it takes to deliver a good service. So it's a really valuable morning. It's a stressful morning because everybody's usually really quite anxious, because this is it, you're on show and you have to go up there, and as I say, you have to kind of bring this person to life for a few moments so that everybody can say their goodbyes and then let them go. But throughout, you know, I've been training now for a few years, and that's always a really, really great morning, because students, you know, you're paying a lot of money to come in this course. You are given lots and lots of material to work with, and there's lots to take in the course, and that all comes together on that last day, and it's usually, you know, we're all quite blown away by what the students put together. And then in the afternoon of the 4th day, We are working towards the close of the course, but not before we talk about the business side of it. So how does it all work? How do you actually get work as a funeral celebrant? And how does that process work? How much do you charge? Do you need insurance? Do you need professional indemnity insurance as well as public liability insurance? What about GDPR? Do you need a social media presence? Should I have a website? So all these things that that students want to know, need to know, to go out there and help them to build their funeral celebrant business. So it's a full-on course. There's loads to learn. Your heads will be buzzing, but you will go away from the 4 days. It's my intention that you go away from the 4 days not only feeling that you really enjoyed it and that you've learned so much, but also that you feel very prepared to go out there and start working as a funeral celebrant, because there is absolutely no reason why as soon as the course finishes you can't be out there promoting yourself and speaking to the people that are going to be picking up that phone and saying, are you available for a funeral service this date, this time? And you go, yes, I am. So if you're interested in the training, please get in touch. Please fill in the application form. That's a part of the email that was sent out. I don't accept everybody on the course because, we've got to make sure the right people are out there doing this work. You are dealing with people who are, one of the lowest points, if not the lowest point in their life. And we need to make sure the people that are going out there are people that can hold that for them and that are going to be very professional and very efficient and are going to work in a way that makes that process much easier for the family, that makes it so that the funeral director doesn't have to babysit them, and makes them seen as being very, very professional. And you're representing me, you're representing Celebrant Training Scotland, so I need to make sure that you're going to do that in the best way possible. But if you're interested, please get in touch and then we'll set up a Zoom call, we'll have a wee chat and make sure we're a fit for each other. But whatever you're doing in terms of moving your celebrant career forward, whether it's with me or with somebody else, I wish you all the good luck. And it really is a very rewarding career, and I can't say enough good things about it. But thank you for listening. As I say, if you're interested, get in touch and we'll maybe have a wee chat and maybe even see you in the classroom soon. Okay, fair fall.